Hello there, Mr. K here with a business math worksheet video for section 4-2. In 4-1 we began talking about savings accounts and the deposit slips that people fill out when putting money into a savings account. Now I will admit, with it being the year 2015 at the time of me making this video, checks like we see here in front of us and deposit slips, they are slowly, but they are going away. Why? Well, because people are doing a lot of their banking online. They still put money into banks, they still use banks, they still use savings accounts and checking accounts, but they now use debit cards and they make online transactions, purchasing things off of places like Amazon.com or eBay. And because of that, you might not see as many checks in the world like we see here, or even deposit slips being filled out. But it is still important to know how to fill these out in case they are needed. What I have before us is a check that will be written to Walmart. And as you can tell, this is an old problem that was created back in 2013. And when we fill out this check, we'll just use this year's date. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Now, as I show you how to fill out this check, what I want you to do is your very best to ensure that you are doing everything I'm asking you to do. Why? Well, because there's a right way and a wrong way to fill out a check. Now, I will admit, sometimes banks will accept checks that aren't filled out 100% the correct way. And you might even be writing checks incorrectly and the bank is still accepting them. But if you do the tips that I'm going to show you, it will ensure that your money is never tampered with, or at least diminish the chances that your money will ever be tampered with and less chances of having identity theft. Well, whenever you're writing a check, for example here in this problem, to buy groceries at Walmart, you first got to write down the date. Now, there are a few different ways to write out the date. The one way, of course, is you can use the numbers. And like I said, I'll use this year. Or you can use words. Either way is acceptable. Then you go pay to the order of. Pay to the order of is a fancy way of saying who are you paying money to? Who are you writing this check out to? And of course, as you look at this, you can go, yeah, it's Walmart. We're paying money to Walmart. Then you need to know, well, okay, how much money are you paying them? You're paying them $283.79. Now, all of this I think is pretty simple. You put down the date, you put down who you're paying money to, and then you put down a dollar amount using numbers. But here's the thing. Now it is time to write the dollar amount in words. That's right, words. And when you write it out in words, it is highly encouraged, and banks would prefer that you write it out using cursive handwriting. That's right, cursive handwriting. Now, cursive handwriting might not be something that you're very good at doing. So what you might even try and do is go online, get on your Chromebook, get on your computer, and try and find a cursive alphabet. That way you can kind of remind yourself what a cursive G looks like, what a cursive O looks like, and how to connect them and stuff. Well, right here, I began to write it out in cursive, but I've also realized that I made a mistake because it's not correct. I put 283. Folks, you can't do that because that's not the correct number. The correct number here is 283. And then you're going to write a magic word known as and. You see, you write the word and wherever the decimal point is. You don't write the word and anywhere else. You see, some students might try and go 283, but that's incorrect. You only write the word and once, and you write it wherever the decimal point is. Now, after you've written the word and, you now need to make a small fraction. Notice how I'm using the word small fraction, small, all right? And give me a second and I'll show you what I mean. In making a small fraction, what you're going to do is write the dollar amounts coins, as a fraction. And so it's 79 cents. You see that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the number 79 over 100, like a fraction. You will always write the coins over 100. For example, if you just are writing a check for $100 even, with no coins, you're still going to write a fraction, but it'll be 100 or a 00 over 100. All right? You always have to write that fraction. After you are done writing out the dollar amount in cursive handwriting, putting in the word and writing your coins as a fraction, the last thing you do is you kind of just do a little squiggly line all the way through the rest of the space. Now, you might be looking at this right now and kind of having a little frustrated look on your face. Well, let me explain to you the reason why we do this. There are people out there in the world who try and steal your money. And nowadays, it's almost better for them to get a financial document, like a check of yours, or like your credit card statement, or if they can get a hold of your social security number. Because what they're going to do is they're going to use your information to steal money. If a person gets a hold of one of your checks, they're going to try and write a check and cash it out to themselves and steal your money. Or if they get one of your checks and it's filled out, they might try and manipulate it. That's right, manipulate it. Imagine if I got a hold of your check and all of a sudden I put an extra 1 right there and a comma. Now all of a sudden it went from $283 to $1,283. But since we're writing this stuff in cursive, where am I going to write the 1,000 at? No, it's tough. So that's why there's these precautions, these safeguards in place. That's why you use cursive. Why is cursive better? Well, you know students who may have gotten an F on a paper in high school, and so that they wouldn't get in trouble, they turned it into an A and made mom and dad very happy, right? Because they were able to manipulate the letter F. You see, it's much easier to manipulate printed words than it is cursive. So it's important to write cursive. It's important to write these words all out, use the fraction, and do the squiggly line. Whew. We're almost done writing this check out. The next thing that we need to do, is write out what we are trying to buy. And what we're trying to buy is groceries. So you write in groceries right there. What is this for? It's for groceries. And then we have this last line. It doesn't say what it is, but what it is a signature line. What you're supposed to do is write down the signature of the person who's buying these groceries. And it just so happens that if you read the paragraph up above, it says you write the check. So go ahead, write the check and sign your name right there as a signature. Each check is worth 6 points. Why? You got 1 point for the date, 1 point for who you are writing the check out to, another point for writing the dollar amount in numbers, a 4th point for writing it all out in words with the fraction and the squiggly line, another point for what you're buying, and a 6th and last point for your signature. If you've got questions, please let Mr. K know. He understands that many of you might have written checks before, but you might not have done it this way. For our class, you have to do it this way. Thanks once again, and we'll see you next time.